number 9, we have our 5 top sports betting picks of the week right now. All right. Right before we get into our picks of the week, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't miss any more NFL week picks from us here at grandstandbettors.com. And without further ado, let's just jump straight in to our first matchup of NFL week number 9. And that's going to be between the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, both of these teams are coming off wins. The Broncos are coming off a great comeback win over the Chargers, 31-30. And the Atlanta Falcons are coming off a Thursday night victory over the Carolina Panthers. Yes, that is without Christian McCaffrey, and Teddy Bridgewater didn't look good. But the Falcons did move to 2-6, and the Broncos moved to 3-4 on the season, respectfully. All right, now let's look at what injuries are going to affect this matchup. The first, on the Denver side, you have Patrick Lindsay and Tim Patrick, the running back and wide receiver duo, who is a large part of the offense of the Broncos. Are they going to be out? Sources say right now, expect them to play. No worries, full offense for the Broncos. On the flip side, the Falcons have Fowler out on defense, and Ridley is questionable on the offense. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that matters so much for Ridley being out. Fowler being out is going to affect their defense. Denver will be able to move the ball, score some points on the Falcons. Well, let's be honest. Who hasn't scored points on the Falcons this season? Now, Ridley, if he goes out, it's next man up. You got Gage, you got Julio Jones. You got Hurst, you got a great receiving core that Matt Ryan can work with, and that shouldn't be a problem. So they should be able to go up and down the field, just like the Chiefs did against the Broncos in that snowstorm a couple weeks back. So, you know what? I think both teams move the ball, both teams score. I mean, Tim Patrick is coming off 2 straight road games where he's had over 100 yards. Locke's coming off his best game of the season. The Falcons' defense is giving up the most passing touchdowns in the entire league. On the flip side, Ryan is coming off 300 yards. In the last 5 to 7 games, he's had more than 300 yards. And Julio Jones is back. Even though injury has plagued him this season, he's coming off a 7-catch, 157-yard game. There's going to be points galore, and I don't know why the book is so low, but it's at 49.5. We're going to take over 49.5. This is an easy winner. Denver, Atlanta, over 49.5 points. All right, moving on to our second play of NFL week number 9. This is going to be a tough matchup on paper. It's Baltimore against Indianapolis. Now, the line here opened up Baltimore -3. It has gone all the way to Baltimore +1. The money is just coming in on the Indianapolis Colts. Last week, Baltimore lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They dropped to 5-2. On the flip side, you had the Colts dominate the Detroit Lions, and they moved to 5-2. So a little matchup between 5 and 2. Could this be a playoff matchup down the line? It could. Now, why did it flip so much? Well, I think the reason is there's injuries. On the Ravens side, you got Humphreys and Fent. They're both going to be out. Ingram's doubtful, and more of the wide receivers doubtful as well. The Colts, Hilton is going to be out, and Ollie Cox is questionable. Now, Hilton hasn't done much all season, so that's not really a blow to Phillip Rivers in that offense. But the defensive side and the weapons that Lamar Jackson might lose is going to be a little detrimental to their offense. However, even though Rivers has thrown for 370 yards in his last 2 outings, and on the defensive side of the Colts, Darius Leonard looks amazing when he plays. He's been injury prone. Jackson has rushed for 65-plus yards in the last 2 games, and when they don't turn the ball over, they win. Why did they lose last week against the Steelers? Jackson turned the ball over. He had a great game. There's no way that they should have lost that game, but they did. You know what? It has gone all the way to the Ravens +1. To me, that's basically a pick 'em. I'm taking the Ravens in this matchup plus 1 point. I actually think it's going to get some buyback, and you'll see it at a pick'em or Ravens -1 come game time. But right now, Baltimore plus 1. All right, our third matchup is between the NFC West division rivals, Oakland. Oh, nope, Las Vegas. See what I did there? And the San Diego Chargers. Oakland has moved to Las Vegas. This is the first time they've made an appearance here on our picks in NFL Week number 9. We're excited to have them here because they just beat our Browns. So we're going to make them seem like they're Super Bowl champions because the Browns are the best team in the NFL, and they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders last week. On the flip side, San Diego is coming off a heartbreaking loss, as we mentioned, to Denver 31-30. They were up in that game by 2+ touchdowns. Should have won the game. Oakland beating Cleveland moves to 4-3. They are in playoff position. And San Diego, I'm sorry, it's not San Diego. Just like Las Vegas, it's LA. The LA Chargers are 2-5. And they lost to the Denver Broncos, as we mentioned, moving them probably to selling. They didn't really trade anybody at the trade deadline this week, so we'll see what happens. They do have a young, good core talent there with Justin Herbert, their running back, Henderson. It's a good young talent there, but I'm not sure why this is at a pick'em. That's what it really kind of opened at. It was Las Vegas -1. And now it's kind of a pick'em, which means that the LA Chargers are getting some buyback on that. I'm not really sure. There's an injury on the Las Vegas side. Josh Jacobs is questionable. But Booker, his backup, was awesome against the Browns last week, so I'm not sure why people might be buying on the Chargers. On the flip side, the Chargers have Bosa, who's doubtful, and their secondary is just beat up on the injury side. Derek Carr didn't have a great game last week against the Browns, but if you looked outside the window in Cleveland, it was snowing, and it was 40-mile-an-hour winds. So Derek Carr gets a pass from us on that. Ruggs, Renfro, and Waller are all healthy, and Derek Carr, in some sunny weather, are probably going to hook up with them. I look for Derek Carr to throw 270, maybe over 300 yards in this game. And to boot, it's a must-win for these Raiders. If they want any chance of making the playoffs, they have to win this game. The LA Chargers, they don't care. Herbert's kind of coming into his own. Henderson's coming into his own. As a Browns fan, I'm going to tell you right now that the Raiders didn't look great, but they're better than that. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert, he's going to throw a couple interceptions. The Chargers have the bottom rush defense of the entire NFL. And we're just going to lean all the way towards the Raiders here. There's no reason that the Derek Carr, Renfro, Waller, Riggs, all those guys can't overtake the young kids of the LA Chargers. So again, Oakland, take them as a pick-em, money line, whatever you want to do. There's a little more juice on the money line. But Oakland Raiders, not Oakland. Ha! See, I keep saying it. I can't get it out of my head. Why the fuck did they move to Las Vegas? Las Vegas Raiders as a pick-em. All right, number 4 on our list is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. You know what? I have to admit, the Dallas Cowboys have been on our NFL Week picks way too much. We had them, I think, 2 weeks in a row. They didn't work out. Their QBs, Dalton, their third-string quarterback, now it looks like it's going to be Garrett Gilbert. They're just not working out. Pittsburgh, 7-0. They beat Baltimore, as we mentioned earlier. Dallas is coming off a loss on, I think, Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. 2-6 they are, losing to that Philly. The injuries, Vance McDonald for Pitt is the only person of any relevance that's going to be out. Everybody else is good. On the flip side, you have, for Dallas, not too many injuries. You got Elliott, He was a little questionable, but you know what? Those guys can't stop anybody on defense, so it really doesn't matter who they're playing. The Pittsburgh Steelers are averaging 30 points per game. Connor is going to have a field day with this rush defense. He is coming off 170 yards rushing. He's going to have a phenomenal day. Garrett Gilbert is he's a veteran of some sort, so he knows how to manage an offense. But you got to think that with the Steelers' defense, he's not going to be able to put up too many points. Now, with that said, the bookmakers, because of probably not knowing who the quarterback's going to be in this matchup, made the line and the total very conservative, and it was over 43 for the total. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Pittsburgh's averaging 30 points a game. They could put up 35 easy on Dallas. No hesitation. It's in Dallas. That's indoors, and Roethlisberger thrives when there's no wind. He's going to throw for 300 yards easily. Now, if they can get 35 points to hit that over, you need 9 more points. Can Garrett Gilbert get you 9 points with the Cowboys? We don't think he can. But you know who can? Zuerlein, the kicker. 3 field goals. That's all you need. 9 points. He's going to get it easily. And you're going to go over 43 in this matchup. The Steelers' offense is too strong for the Dallas Cowboys defense. And they're just going to score until that over hits. The only thing I would be worried about is if they get up by 4 or 5 touchdowns, they will use Connor and Benny Snell to just run that clock out. So we are hesitant, but we're going to go on a small unit play here. Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys over 43. And last but not least, our 5th play of the week. It's our massive play of the week. We have a huge bet, and it is on the matchup between the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins. Now, this matchup is going to be Tua's second start of his career. He had a coming out party last week. If you want to call it a coming out party, and he went 12 of 22 for 93 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. Now, Breda is out. That's not of significance. You got Myles Gaskin, who's going to be the starting running back for Miami. He played up in Washington a few years ago. He is a great running back out of Washington. Shout out to my father-in-law who watched Myles Gaskin for years. This guy knows how to play. He will get some yards, and the Arizona Cardinals defense is a little depleted. They have some of their secondary out, some of their defensive line out, and it will allow Myles Gaskin to get some chunk yards. On the flip side, you got Drake, the starting running back, out for the Cardinals. Now, who are they going to replace him with? Oh, yeah, Chase Edmonds. This guy, he plays anyway every week and scores, 10, 15 fantasy points and gets in the end zone every single week. It's his job to. So we're not worried about the Arizona Cardinals running the ball with Drake out. Kirk has had 5 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. Hopkins is coming off in week 7 a 10-catch, 100-yard performance. Kyler Murray is just looking phenomenal. I have him on my fantasy team matched up with Kirk. He's won me 2 out of my last 3 matchups just based off of his performance. And I'm going to tell you right now, points are going to get scored from the Cardinals. So with that said, because of the defensive woes that the Cardinals have, and Tua learning from week 1, moving on to week 2, and Myles Gaskin be able to utilize the running game and maybe set up some play action for Tua, we like the over here. The over is set at 49. That's very low for a Cardinals team that had an over of 70 a couple weeks ago against the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, because Tua is a mobile quarterback and he can run. So we'll see what happens, but I like Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins over 49. That's it for us here at Grandstand Bettors. A quick recap on NFL Week number 9. We have our Denver Broncos against those Atlanta Falcons over 49.5. The Baltimore Ravens +1 over the Indianapolis Colts. The Las Vegas Raiders as a pick'em over the Los Angeles Chargers. Pittsburgh Steelers over Dallas Cowboys, the total of that over 43, and the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins over 49. You know what? Make sure you go to Grandstand Bettors and become a member if you can. We give out many member plays every single week to all our members. It's the cheapest, by far, hands down, cheapest website that picks and memberships are given in the sports betting world. And we give you a money-back guarantee. If you don't win from us, you can have your money back. Make sure you go to Grandstand Bettors, become a member, and like always, this weekend, just sit back, relax, and let us do the work while you do the winning.